Okay, Almaden Valley, the market has been shifting and adjusting, and Almaden's been doing a little better than San Jose overall, but we've got some new data, so let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with HomeownerExperience.com. Today we're reviewing the closed stats for June 2022 specific to Almaden Valley. We'll do a little comparing of contrasting with how it compares to San Jose and really talk about what I expect for the Almaden Valley market. So let's jump into the computer so you can look at the actual charts and data. So here we have the chart of Almaden Valley since 2015. You will note the first thing that really sticks out to me is that this yellow line of inventory is finally back above the green sold line. Now, if you note previously, this is fairly normal for Almaden market, but actually Almaden's had a couple of years, like 2018 was not normal like it was in San Jose. 2019 was, and 2016 was, but we have a couple of years where inventory is just really selling well in Almaden Valley. But we're heading back to what seems like a little bit more traditional market where the summer inventory really peaks and the demand starts to go down. So let's talk about that. Pending sales are 43% lower than last year. Again, that was a pandemic year, which is quite different. Closed sales dropped 33% year over year, which is quite significant, showing the demand is actually dropping in Almaden Valley. And the supplies had a big, huge increase. As you can see, it's pretty steep slope of increase going into the summer here. So it's first time the inventory has been higher than the sales in almost 3 years. So that's quite significant. And because of that, we're seeing the prices retract a little bit. So here's the actual data. Almaden Valley median home price is $2.32 million, which is down 7.2% from May 2022, but still up 5% year over year. Now, the percent of homes in contract has really dropped. We're all the way down to 42%. That is less than we're seeing in San Jose, which is 49%. And it's been a significant decrease over the last couple months. Sales price to list price ratio is still 104.7%. Now, those are sales closed in June that went in contract in May. So the interest rates were just starting to really peak and the stock market starting to change in early May. So that is the beginning of the change, but I suspect that number is going to soften even more based on the pending numbers that I'm seeing and the properties going into contract that I'm seeing. Now, our days of inventory has significantly shot up, and this is calculating on the number of sales. If we're looking at pendings, it's actually going to be even more drastic. So up to 39 days of inventory, almost a month and a half of inventory, where last year we were less than a week or just about a week. And last month we were about 3 weeks. So that's a huge change from 3 weeks to 5 weeks of inventory. And we've closed 30 sales in June, which is down from May and down from the previous year with 33%, like I mentioned before, and 29 pending sales. So a little bit softer yet again. So stay tuned to hear what I see out in the field so that you have some leading indicators of the direction of the market. But what's really happening is those interest rates are pricing buyers out of the market. Such a significant change. And if you want to see some of the financial comparisons, you definitely should check out my San Jose market update video where I talk about the median home price of today versus February and the changes interest rate, and it's gonna surprise you how big of a difference it is. So here are those interest rates, right? They're about 5.7%. They did level off a tiny bit, which is great from a couple weeks ago, but we're still expecting those rates to go up. They went up significantly in mid-June and they're expected to go up again in September. So banks will probably start to gradually increase those rates here shortly, but we don't see the Feds likely making a change until September. So how does the market compare to San Jose? We talked a little bit about this, but again, San Jose also is seeing the same thing with a more normal market of more inventory than sales happening. So what does that really mean? The first thing is going to be that buyers are going to be more picky because they have a lot more choice, right? So as a seller, you really need to prep your house, make sure the repairs are all taken care of and this move-in ready and as presentable and as close to today's standard as possible. And the year-over-year appreciation is not as strong as Almaden. in San Jose. It was only 3% in San Jose. In Almaden, we're seeing 7%, right? So what's coming in Almaden Valley? Well, the supply is going to continue to increase. It's pretty typical. I think there's a lot of sellers who want to take advantage of these great prices. They might have slightly missed the window, but again, we're up year over year. And if you look what we're up since the beginning of the pandemic, it's significant. The Santa Clara County average was 31% up from the beginning of the pandemic, just not even 3.5 years ago. Sorry, two and a half years ago. So the demand is lower because of those interest rates, primarily just making affordability much more difficult. So out in the field, we're seeing 1 to 2 offers on a property. I just got one in contract last week, right before the 4th of July. And there were 2 offers that came in, but they were both low and they were very close in price. So the seller had to work with one of them. They did get 2, but it took a while for buyers to jump in. We had to adjust the price to get buyers to finally jump in, and they were still not jumping in quite at our list price. So be aware that buyers are looking for properties that are move-in ready, and if not, they're really going to hit you for those repairs and adjusting of their list price. Because of course they're looking at how much money to go in, right? That's it for now. I think next you should watch, is it a buyer or seller's market, to really understand the difference of that. And then definitely check out that San Jose market update and the full piece to get a view of the finances and more metrics going on in the greater market. Thanks for joining me.